Hello and welcome to the Road to F1 2016. This is the 7th race of the season at Canada. Probably one of my favourite tracks, and that showed in my pace as once again I out-qualified my teammates and get my Force India car on the second row of the grid with a lap time of 1:13.9, which was only the 4/10 off the fastest lap set by Lewis Hamilton. So it's been a good qualifying session, you join me in the race, and now it's time to go to the grid. I'm actually seriously hoping of stepping on the podium today. That is definitely possible to do, but I've got to drive with all my ability and make no mistakes. Our pit strategy is to come in around lap 8 or 9 and put a set of prime tyres that will take us to the end of the race. However, the Force India has been plagued with tyre wear issues all season, which has already ruined some of my races. But let's find out while we wait for the 5 lights to go out for the Canadian Grand Prix, and we're off. And it looks like we've got a decent start, but Ricciardo's had an even better one and tries to go down my inside into turn 1, but we're going to try and fend him off and get the inside line into turn 2. Now it looks like the Mercedes are squabbling, it looks like they've put each other in the wall. Vettel almost goes into the back of them. Now we're going to try and overtake Vettel into the third corner, and we have got our Force India car in first place. Who could have believed it? Once again the Mercedes tangling up with each other, causing problems like in real life. Hamilton and Rosberg just don't like giving each other space. So here's a replay of what actually happened at the start. You can see Rosberg got a decent start off the line, better than Hamilton's, and goes trying round the outside. Then it just looks like he tries and go into the inside line, and their wheels touch and it just puts each other into the wall. And they didn't lose too many positions. I didn't see any front wing falling off, but yeah, unfortunate for them two guys. Toto Wolff will be pulling his hair out right about now. But as you can also see, the Ferrari's getting very close. Now we're on an onboard shot with the pole sitter Lewis Hamilton. And it looks like, as I said, he just doesn't have the drive up into turn 1. And then the inside, Nico Rosberg comes up and their tyres just touch. They get stuck together and they go into the barrier. And there you see myself and Vettel go in front. So at the end of lap 1, we are in first place still, with Massa just behind us and Vettel just behind him. We come towards the Wall of Champions to finish our first lap, and it looks like we're still actually going to stay in first place. We've actually got a little bit of a gap. Now we move on to lap 4, and it looks like Vettel is trying to overtake us, but we fend him off. It looks like we didn't get such a good drive out of the final corner, but I don't think he's going to have... I've gone for a very low downforce setup, so I don't think he's going to have the speed, as he almost hits into the back of us there as we come into the hairpin turn going to the long straight, and he's got in front of us, but we're going to stick our car into rich mix and we're going to try and pick up a little bit of slipstream. He has got DRS, but as I said, we have got a low downforce setup and we're picking up speed. We're going to move to the inside line. Can we get this move done to get back into first place? We try and take a deep line, and it looks like Vettel has he's hit our rear wing or something. He's spun out in the Wall of Champions. What is happening today with these mistakes and these contacts causing trouble? So here we have a replay of what actually happened. We just try and pick up the slipstream of Sebastian Vettel, and we've also got Massa just behind us trying to get the slipstream off us. So it's a three-way battle going into the final corner, and we just move to the inside line. We try and give him as much space as possible, but there wasn't enough space for two cars, and we just tap his rear wheel and he goes spinning, and then Massa decides to push him halfway down the pit straight, and then you can see just slightly Lewis Hamilton, or Nico, I think that is Lewis Hamilton, deciding to hit him, and he then hits his teammate just because he's pissed off. So here's an onboard of Sebastian Vettel, so we can see a little bit more of what happened. He turns in, takes as much like a deeper line as possible, and so did we. We just couldn't fit our two cars together through that final corner, and as you can see there, he just got pushed by Massa. Now we are on lap 6, and unfortunately with F1 2015 there is no safety car, so all those cars got bunched up and stuck into the final corner, so we're just driving on our own. So I'm lifting and coasting all the way up until the pit straight. Now we're coming down the final, coming up to the final corner. Now I'm going to start going full throttle again. Massa and Rosberg have caught up. They're around about 3 seconds behind, which was where they were around about originally. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go full throttle now. It's only going to be, I don't know, a three-way battle. As you can see, the amount of debris that's been left around the final corner. But now on lap number 8 we come into the pits. We've tried to nurse these tyres, and we're just going to put on a set of primes. Hopefully that'll take us to the end of the race, and then yeah, hopefully we can still win this race. I would love to do it, however I know the cars behind me are seriously faster than I am, so I've just got to try and be defensive really. I've got to try and defend all my positions, make no mistakes. That is the big problem with me at the moment, getting used to playing with no assist on Legend AI. I make a lot of mistakes and I cannot do this. I cannot afford to waste this opportunity to get a win with a Force India. As we move on to lap number 13, we have got Rosberg trying to go into our inside, which gives us a little bit of a tap, a little bit of a squeeze into the wall, but now we're going to try and pick up as much slipstream as possible, move our car into rich mix, and as you see, our low downforce setup is helping us down this long straight. Now we come up to the wall of champions. Please don't make contact this time as we take a little bit too much curb, but we get through there unscathed. We're still in first place at the moment, and here's a little bit of a replay of showing you how it's supposed to be trying to fit two cars into the final corner, into the wall of champions. So as you can see, we go around the outside of Nico Rosberg, and we're just squeezing each other as much as possible without making contact. Now we move into the final corner, we just get our car in front, we brake a tiny bit later than he does, and we just about stay in front. Now we move on to lap number 15, only 3 laps to go. Will Stevens is in front of us. He could cause a few issues between us two because we are fighting very hard, myself and Rosberg, and Vettel has started to catch up because of our we're slowing each other down, so it's letting Vettel and Massa starting to get some pace back on us, and they're closing the gap. However, they are still about 4 seconds behind. Is Rosberg going to make a move? Stevens made us brake a little bit earlier, than usual, but we get past him. He didn't cause too many issues. It was just unfortunate where we caught up to him. Now we come into turn 1 for lap number 16, and it looks like we're still going to be in first place. Come on, there's 2 laps to go. Can we please just finish this? So now we move on to lap number 18, the final lap of the race, and we are still just in front of Nico Rosberg. He's 1/10 behind. Now I'm going to stick the whole last lap up so you can see how much I'm having to defend, running a little bit wide into turn 3 and 4, getting a little bit oversteer off the curb coming into turn 5. Now we brake very hard, and we're just going to try as much as possible to try and defend through here, and this is where my weak spot is with this Force India car. Low downforce setup, coming to this corner, I always seem to run wide. However, we're going to try and brake as early as possible. We still run slightly wide though, so we've got around about 3 corners to go. We are so close to finishing this race. Please, 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 can we get the braking right here? We're going to try to... We're running wide though. No, and that's letting Nico... Not on the last lap of the race, not on the last 2 corners. Come on, we've got to try and get it back in front of him. We're going to try and out-drag him into the final corner. Come on, come on. Please? Please let me finish. Come on, we've cut him up slightly. We've took a bit too much curb. We've got a little bit of oversteer on the exit, but it looks like we are going to win the Canadian Grand Prix with our Force India car. Get in there. Wow. I know it was just like unusual circumstances that has allowed me to win this race, but a race win nonetheless in a Force India car is absolutely amazing. Yes, if the two Mercedes hadn't caught up with each other on the first lap, and if Vettel hadn't caused a traffic jam, maybe the whole race would have been totally different. But nevertheless, we have won the Canadian Grand Prix, and that is going to be a huge 25 points for our local team. Force India, and based just out of Silverstone. Not got a lot of money, but we have just got 25 points, which will help us in the constructors' battle between ourselves, Red Bull, and we are also hopefully fighting with Williams as well. As you can see, Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton got time penalties, so obviously the stewards felt that they were in the wrong for their crashes. But nonetheless, it's just so weird to see Sergio Perez to win the Grand Prix. I know somebody on Twitter who would love this so much. Fate Goes Pirate is a massive, massive Perez fan, and he would just love this. But there we have it, guys. We have just won the Canadian Grand Prix. That's 25 points. That moves us up into 5th place in the drivers' standings behind Kimi Räikkönen, Bottas, Hamilton and Rosberg. And we are going to look at the Constructors' Championship in a second. Daniel Kvyat in his Red Bull is starting to match his actual teammate Daniel Ricciardo as well. That is quite good. And Max Verstappen is doing quite well as well. And that means our race win has moved us up into 4th place into the Constructors' Championship, just ahead of Ferrari, and just behind Ferrari and just ahead of Red Bull. But thank you all for watching. Do not forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.
After 5